Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're going to take a look at some prototypes that have come my way from Liong Mah. This is part of his 2020 catalog, and we're going to take a look at the smaller field duty, or the field duty EDC, which, as you guys know, stands for everyday carry. So there are a couple variations. I think it's just these three, but obviously we have a black G10. We have a green G10, and then we do have a carbon fiber. So a couple different options, pretty cool here. The price obviously of the carbon fiber would be a little bit more than the G10, but let's get into it. Obviously I should open these up and show it to you guys. Let's stick with the carbon fiber, because why not? Obviously they're the same in every regard. They do use a monoblock construction here, so it's one pretty thick piece of G10 or carbon fiber in this case, and it essentially wraps all the way around, kind of makes up the spot where the backspacer would be. So that is that. Alright, let's grab this one. Let's grab the larger version that came out last year, and this is a knife that I've really enjoyed carrying. It's a large knife. It cuts very well, it carries very slender in the pocket, it's very comfortable, you can choke up, you can grab it normally. For someone with large hands like me, this has been a really enjoyable knife to carry and use. I think it was on my list of my favorites from 2019, I think so. If it wasn't, it should have been. So I've been pretty excited for the smaller version of this knife to come out. 3.5 inch blade is just a little bit more manageable for most people than that large 4-inch there. So again, you guys can see we've got a pretty stark size difference. So while we're talking about the size specifically, let's grab the usual suspects. We have the Kershaw dividend, which it's not too far off from. Let's go up a little bit more here. There we go. So there's one size comparison, and then let's grab the Paramilitary 2 as another. Alright, so let's chat about more of the specs. So again, 3.5 inch blade, does have a 4-inch handle, 8.5 overall. Handle thickness is about half an inch here, 0.5. The blade stock with my calipers came in at 0.138 inches, so under 140 thousandths, or 3.48 millimeters. So here it is next to the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Thickness behind the edge, again with my calipers, which hopefully are fairly accurate, came in at 0.023, and the Para 2 is 0.025, so a little bit thinner than the Para 2. It is a full flat grind, so hopefully that tells you kind of the cutting performance you can expect from it. Weight, 3.4 ounces on the carbon fiber and 3.6 ounces on the G10 versions. You can't really tell the difference in hand, to be honest. There will be a couple changes. These are prototypes that we have here. When they come into production, estimated release date is probably, fingers crossed, right? A lot going on in the world. Probably August 2020 here, and there will be a couple changes that I'm going to talk about right now. So the first of which is going to be the pivot here. It's actually going to be a little bit more basic, just a flat, kind of a flat disc pivot, and he is switching to steel on the hardware. And this is a conversation that I've had with him, and something that he's obviously seen over the years. While titanium hardware sounds really cool and it kind of sounds exotic, and you can anodize it a whole slew of colors, most of the tools that you use to take apart your knives are, or they should be, hardened tool steel. And so I've lost a few titanium screws and pivots, when they were slightly lock-headed. I put a little too much pressure, and it just strips the teeth right off of the the hardware, that's softer titanium hardware. So he is shifting to steel hardware, which again, for longevity, I think is a really good thing. It's just built to last a little bit better, a little bit easier to service. You don't really have to be as nervous about taking it apart and cleaning it if it's a knife you intend to carry and use for years. So again, he had a lot come back that were stripped. I've stripped them, so I think moving to steel is actually a better choice. Again, if you're going to do a dress knife and it's going to be to the nines as far as exotic materials, then sure, throw on a couple titanium screws, anodize them crazy colors, whatever. But for pieces that you carry daily and do need to be taken apart and cleaned and serviced, I think it's a better way to go, my opinion, obviously. So again, I'm not going to say that he switched to steel because of me, but it's a conversation we had last year and he thought it was probably a good idea, again, considering how many have come back damaged. So anyways, it does run on bearings. It does have a stainless steel lock insert. The pocket clip will change. This one, it's super short. This is this is a really difficult to get in your pocket type of clip. It's too short, not enough spring to it. So the production version will be a little bit longer, and so it'll actually have more spring to it and function better as a clip, which I'm very happy about. I don't know if you'll see it here, but there's actually some milling internally on the titanium. You can see one pocket down there. Again, to kind of lighten it up. Balance point is right behind the pivot, so it's pretty well balanced. And then of course you do have a really large finger choil. So this is a usable finger choil on this knife, which is wonderful because I have had, there's so many. If you're going to do a forward finger choil on the blade, at least commit to it and make it usable. There have been so many knives over the years where it's too small for me to use, and it's like, why did you waste the cutting edge for a non-usable finger choil? So anyways, yeah, just a kind of a really nice overall user, really great size. The weight's good, the balance is good, the materials are good. Switching to LMAX, and so again, he's typically used M390 on all of his knives. Switching to LMAX, he's going to steel hardware, and he's going less decorative. So price-wise, these are actually coming down in price compared to most of his models. These will be a little bit closer to probably the $300 mark rather than over $400. And again, carbon fiber is probably going to be a little bit more expensive. So I have talked quite a lot. Let's do some close-ups. Do you have lock bar relief cut out? Well, you have some relief milling in there so you can disengage the lock bar lanyard tube. But yeah, all right. So that's probably as much as I can show you guys. I'm really excited to see the final production version of these knives because, again, I have such admiration for the full size one here, and it's one that I plan to keep. I really couldn't ever see myself selling this one because I really enjoy using it. But again, coming in at a lower price point and a more reasonable size while still carrying the same cool factor, and even going to the monoblock construction, which obviously adds perhaps a bit more stability, simplicity, a lot of good stuff going on with this model. So again, we'll cross our fingers that there aren't any production or shipping snags as we get closer to August of 2020. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I guess another close-up here on the opening hole just in case. Come on, camera. And then the jimping up top, moderately to low effective. You get definitely enough of a forward grip that is comfortable. And then coming back on the knife, I can still get all 4 fingers on. So yeah. All right, so comments or questions, let me know. Do my best to answer. You can always hit up Liong. He's very responsive. He loves to chat with his customers. So I'll put a link to his website and his Instagram. And if you liked the video or almost liked it, appreciated me doing it, give me a thumbs up and give me a follow on Instagram for daily content. Thanks so much, guys. See ya.